Have you ever heard of a crime so terrifying that even mentioning its name once is enough to haunt people? Over 20 years ago, this case shocked the public, shaking an entire community to its core. But then, as if by some strange twist of fate, all information about it seemed to disappear. Witnesses, clues, even the names of the victims, all gradually faded, as though they had never existed. Who manipulated the truth? Who wielded this invisible power from behind the scenes? And why, to this day, do so few people know about this story? Get ready. We're about to lift the veil on a case so chilling, its details might keep you up at night. The mysterious disappearance of a young woman. On April 27, 2004, at the Shihu police station in Zhejiang province, officers received a frantic phone call reporting a missing person. As soon as the receiver was lifted, a panicked voice on the other end cried, "My daughter is missing. Please, you have to find her. Please stay calm and start from the beginning." The officer gently reassured the woman. After nearly 10 seconds of silence, a deep male voice took over the line, saying, "My daughter, Lin Yurong, has been out of contact for more than a week." He continued to give details, hoping the police would come to the address he provided immediately. Upon receiving the information, officers from the Shihu police station promptly arrived at the apartment of the caller, Mr. Lin Sidan, 54 years old. The missing person was his daughter, Lin Yurong, 23 years old. The apartment was located in the bustling Shiko residential area in Shihu City, where residents were numerous and a security guard was stationed at the gate. According to Mr. Lin, his family lived in Anhui province and had only one daughter, whom they adored. When Yurong wanted to move to Zhejiang for her studies, her parents rented her an entire apartment rather than having her stay in a dorm like her peers. From childhood, Yurong never lacked for anything. She was showered with her parents' love, and they provided her with everything of value that she desired. Around 9 p.m. on April 20th, Yurong called home, excitedly sharing that she was about to be hired by a prestigious company. Her parents were overjoyed and suggested they visit that weekend to celebrate with her, but she declined, saying she was too busy preparing. That was the last call Mr. and Mrs. Lin received from their daughter. 3 days went by without any news, and Mr. Lin became increasingly worried. He called Zhao Fei Wu, Yurong's boyfriend, a 25-year-old, to check if he'd heard anything. However, Fei Wu admitted he hadn't been able to contact her since April 19th. He explained that they'd had an argument because he suspected Yurong was seeing someone else. They had been together since Yurong was a student, and he had once planned to marry her after she had been working for a year. But recently, he'd noticed many changes in her, which led to significant conflicts between them. On April 23rd, Fei Wu received a call from Mr. Lin, informing him that his daughter had not been in contact with the family for 3 days. Fei Wu tried calling Yurong, but he only heard the phone ring with no answer. The next day, on April 24th, he tried again, but this time, her phone was unreachable. He reached out to her friends, but none of them knew where she was either. At that moment, the officer interrupted Fei Wu's story. "You have a spare key to Lin Yurong's apartment. Why didn't you go check on her?" In response, Zhao Fei Wu explained that he had left Zhejiang for a business trip to Shanghai on the morning of April 23rd and had only returned the previous day. During his trip, he was accompanied by colleagues, and he had witnesses, including business partners and hotel staff, who could confirm he was in Shanghai at that time. However, the fact that Zhao Fei Wu had a key to her apartment, was in Zhejiang for 3 days when she first went missing, and had been having conflicts with her, made him a person of interest in the police investigation. After gathering all this information, the police began examining the area around Lin Yurong's apartment. Her apartment was on the 3rd floor of Building B in a fairly crowded residential area. The living room and kitchen were tidy, with very few kitchen utensils, suggesting she rarely cooked at home. In contrast, Her bedroom was somewhat messy. A few clothes were strewn on the bed, and others were hung haphazardly on a rack. Items on her dressing table were scattered about. However, there were no signs of forced entry or a struggle. Rather, it seemed that the room's occupant had left in a hurry, without tidying up. The police suspected that perhaps Yurong had gone out and disappeared afterward. Now, their mission was to figure out where Yurong went and whom she met on April 21st. The police suspected that after her call with her parents on the night of April 20th, Yurong had stayed home initially, and their top suspect was none other than Zhao Feiwu. When asked about that night, Feiwu explained that he was upset over their relationship issues, so he went to a friend's house to drink and ended up staying over because he was too drunk. The next morning, he went to worked overtime until 10 p.m., and claimed he hadn't left his apartment since then. His account was corroborated by nearby witnesses, including a late-night food vendor across from his place, who confirmed that Feiwu's apartment lights were on until midnight. A faint clue from a red Toyota. The police then spoke to the security guard at Yurong's apartment complex. He provided a crucial detail they had initially overlooked. He reported that late on April 20th, he saw Yurong leaving her apartment. She was dressed up, with meticulous makeup and a strong perfume. When he asked why she was going out so late, she only smiled in response. She left the complex around 11 p.m. The guard also noted that someone picked her up, but since it was dark and from a distance, he couldn't make out the license plate or determine whether it was a taxi or a familiar vehicle. However, under the dim glow of the headlights, he recognized it as a red Toyota. This lead immediately became central to the investigation. The entire team was tasked with gathering information about any red Toyota that might have been moving around Shiko on the night of April 20th. Although there were no security cameras in the area at the time, Shiko was experiencing a series of car thefts, so traffic officers had been stationed around the clock at checkpoints, recording suspicious vehicles. This was fortunate, as the lack of traffic around 11 p.m. helped narrow the search radius. However, the investigation team was taken aback when they discovered that no red Toyota had passed through Shiko that evening. Could the driver have deliberately avoided roads with checkpoints? Or was there an error in the guard's story? The glimmer of hope quickly faded, leaving the police perplexed, wondering where Yurong had gone and who she was with, as she had clearly evaded the thorough checkpoint coverage. Despite the setback, the police were certain of one thing. The person Yurong met was someone she trusted deeply. If it wasn't her boyfriend, Zhao Feiwu, then who could it have been? The investigation into Lin Yurong's social connections was launched. Yurong's connections in the elite club. According to Zhao Feiwu, Yurong only had two close friends, Zhou Yin and Li Meiyin. However, Li Meiyin had recently married and moved back to her hometown in Fujian. Yurong's other acquaintances were more casual. None were close enough to prompt her to dress up for a late-night meeting. That left Zhou Yin as the only person who might provide more information about Yurong that night. The police visited Zhou Yin's home, and she seemed utterly shocked to hear that her friend was missing. Zhou Yin explained that she had just returned from a vacation with her boyfriend, during which her phone had broken, leaving her unreachable. However, from Zhou Yin's account, the police uncovered another relationship of Yurong's, one that even Zhao Feiwu knew about but hadn't mentioned. According to Zhou Yin, in the last 2 or 3 months, Yurong had told her that she had joined a club, essentially a group of wealthy young people in Shihu. There, Yurong felt like she had found people of her level who shared her interests and outlook on life. She said she had met the group through a friend and was even considering breaking up with Zhao Feiwu to pursue a more suitable match. Zhou Yin saw her friend becoming lost and tried to dissuade her, hoping Yurong would realize that she didn't truly belong in the world of the rich kids. But Yurong, who had been sheltered by her family since childhood, believed she deserved to be among them. She accused Zhou Nian of being selfish, jealous, and unwilling to let her associate with people above her. Zhao Feiwu was also aware of this new crowd. He had noticed that Yu Rong was dressing up frequently, spending on expensive items, and hardly seeing him, instead spending much of her time texting and calling others. These changes made him suspect she had started a new relationship, which led to a heated argument between them on the 19th. These details led the police to realize that this rich kids group might be a crucial link in understanding Yu Rong's disappearance. However, both Zhao Feiwu and Zhou Nian only knew a little about this club and had no idea of its full membership. The police decided to revisit Lin Yu Rong's apartment for additional clues. There, they discovered a flyer from a restaurant in Shihu City. Following the address, the police met with the restaurant manager. Upon seeing Yu Rong's photo, the manager confirmed that she had visited several times with 2 men and 1 woman, though her companions varied, except for one man who appeared frequently. According to the restaurant staff, this group was young, between 20 and 28, dressed stylishly, and spent money lavishly. However, none of the cars they arrived in was a red Toyota. There was only a black Toyota. This made the police wonder if the security guard had mistaken the car's color due to the red indicator lights, making him think the vehicle was red. Continuing their investigation into this group, the police finally uncovered a significant lead. They received information about an infamous playboy group in Shihu, consisting of members who Jian Bao, Wang Jinchun, Chun Gao, and Liang Jingwan. This F4 group came from wealthy families with immense assets and influence. According to police records, they often gathered at upscale bars, using money to lure beautiful women and frequently causing trouble. Yet their family's power ensured that issues were always quietly resolved. Identifying suspects and the struggle against powerful families. After showing the restaurant staff photos of the 4 men, they confirmed that these were indeed the individuals who had accompanied Lin Yu Rong, and the man she frequently appeared with was Wang Jinchun. The black Toyota was also his. At last, the police had identified a group of potential suspects. However, the current challenge was how to approach this group. The police still weren't sure if Lin Yu Rong was alive or if something terrible had happened to her. Following a team meeting, the police decided to split into 2 groups. One would secretly monitor the F4 members, while the other would continue gathering evidence related to Yu Rong. The surveillance team reported that, apart from their outings to bars and restaurants, the F4 members only returned to their upscale homes and often gathered at Wang Jinchun's residence. Without concrete evidence, the police had no legal grounds to enter his home for a search. The police suspected that Lin Yu Rong might be held captive at Wang Jinchun's residence, possibly being exploited to satisfy the dark desires of this group. As a result, the urgency of the investigation only intensified. At this point, the investigative team, led by Officer Li, gathered additional information from the security guard of the high-end residence where Wang Jinchun lived. According to the guard, Wang had gone out late on April 20th and returned about an hour later. The next morning, his 3 friends arrived at his home one by one. Since the guard only saw cars passing by, he couldn't confirm if anyone else was in Wang's car that night. However, based on the distance from Yu Rong's apartment to Wang's residence, the timing matched up precisely, determining that Wang's black Toyota had traveled from Shiko to Shihu City at around 11:35 p.m. with a young woman in the car. The police finally had enough evidence to summon the suspect group. However, on the day of the summons, only Wang Jinchun appeared. The other 3, not being directly implicated by evidence, were not called in. At the police station, Wang Jinchun appeared smug and arrogantly claimed he had nothing to do with the disappearance of any girl. He even taunted the investigators, asking, "Do you know who my father is?" A familiar, defiant question often heard in such cases. When the police presented evidence showing that he had been with Lin Yu Rong on the night of April 20th, Wang feigned ignorance, pretending not to remember who she was. Frustrated but composed, the police knew that Wang Jin-chun was confident his family would protect him. Despite obtaining a search warrant for Wang's home, it was unexpectedly revoked shortly after he left the station. The power of Wang's family was undeniable. Nonetheless, the investigative team was determined not to give up and continued seeking additional clues to bring Wang to justice. While investigating the bars frequently visited by the F4 group, the police uncovered a crucial piece of information. Lin Yurong wasn't the only one. 2 other young women had disappeared after meeting this group in the past. Their families had searched tirelessly, but any attempts to pursue the group were blocked. When the police spoke with these 2 families, they discovered that each had received compensation money and were advised to stop their search. In addition, multiple witnesses confirmed having seen Lin Yurong spending time with the F4 group, especially with Wang Jin-chun. A young woman who had once been involved with the group agreed to testify, providing additional evidence to the police. On May 18th, after days of grappling with the financial and political influence of Wang Jin-chun's family, the investigators were finally able to enter his home, hoping to uncover the truth about Lin Yurong's disappearance and bring closure to her grieving family. Horrifying discovery in the refrigerator. The killer revealed. Wang Jin-chun's apartment was located in a very upscale neighborhood. However, as soon as the police entered, they noticed a strange odor, not quite the smell of cigarettes or blood, but a faint, unpleasant scent reminiscent of spoiled meat with a slightly metallic tinge. As they searched the apartment, the police quickly discovered 2 women's handbags, one white, one red, and a dress in Wang Jin-chun's bedroom. In the corner of the room, they found 2 pairs of high heels, one of which was missing a shoe. But the most gruesome discovery awaited them in the kitchen. On the sink, small pieces of flesh still clung to the cutting board, and a pot on the stove contained a simmering liquid with an unidentifiable substance. When they opened the refrigerator, the officers were shocked to see frozen packages of meat stacked inside. Among the packages, 10 human fingers protruded from the wrapping. There was no doubt this was human flesh, and the victim count was at least 2. After showing Zhao Feiwu the personal belongings found at the scene, he confirmed that one of the items belonged to his girlfriend, Lin Yurong. This confirmation meant that Lin Yurong was indeed one of the victims, the young woman they had been searching for all this time. With such undeniable evidence, Wang Jin-chun's confidence vanished. He began to show signs of fear and ultimately confessed to everything. The remaining 3, including Hu Jianbao, Chen Gao, and Liang Jingwan, were also brought in on suspicion of involvement. The chilling confession of a deranged killer. According to Wang Jin-chun's confession, he and the 3 others had formed their Rich Kids Club in October 2003. Initially, they met with several other wealthy youth, but fearing their leadership could be challenged, they decided to separate and use their wealth and status to attract young women, most of whom were affluent girls dreaming of marrying into money. In December 2003, Wang met Li Zhumei, a 20-year-old college student. After a while, Zhumei realized that Wang and his friends merely saw her as a plaything. She demanded that Wang give her an official relationship status. But to these hedonistic men, true love was never on the table. When Wang refused, Zhumei walked away. By February 2004, through a connection, Liang Jingwan introduced another girl to the group, Zhang Dingding, a 19-year-old with a naive and romantic view of love. Easily swayed by Liang's sweet words, she agreed to spend the night with him. However, after that night, Liang's attitude changed drastically. Noticing that Wang Jin-chun was interested in Dingding, Liang didn't hesitate to lure her to Wang's house and then left her there, effectively setting her up for the group's twisted intentions. According to Wang Jin-chun's confession, on that night, as soon as Dingding was left at his place, He wasted no time in subjecting her to his depraved desires. Afterward, Ding Ding, heartbroken and enraged at being betrayed by someone she thought cared for her, tearfully vowed that if she could leave Wang's house, she would report him to the police. Wang attempted to intimidate Ding Ding with his family's money and influence, but she wasn't deterred. She declared that she would do whatever it took to expose his actions to the public. This declaration filled Wang with both fear and anger. In a fit of panic, he lunged at her and strangled her. After struggling for a while, she stopped breathing, dying on the spot, having never killed anyone before. Wang Jin-chun was thrown into a state of extreme panic. He quickly called Liang Jingwan, then contacted Hu Jianbao and Chen Gao, asking them to come over. The four of them stared at Ding Ding's body and began discussing the cleanest way to handle the situation. With no solution in mind, they decided to sit down for a meal and discuss their options, all while the girl's lifeless body lay on the floor. In their drunken stupor, and under the influence of drugs, they went so far as to violate Ding Ding's body again, one after the other. Then, Chun Gao recalled an article he'd read about the supposed health benefits of cannibalism. In their drug-induced haze, all four agreed to try it. They dragged Ding Ding's body to the kitchen, cutting it into pieces. Lacking any skill, they hacked away haphazardly, splattering blood everywhere, including on their faces. Once done, they placed Ding Ding's head in a wooden chest to dispose of it later, used some of her flesh to make soup, and stored the remaining parts in the refrigerator. Wang even tried tasting the blood, but immediately vomited from the horror. The four then swore to never reveal what had happened. The unnecessary parts of her body were packed into a large chest and taken away by Liang Jingwan, Hu Jianbao, and Chun Gao for disposal. Every few days, the group would gather at Wang Jin-chun's home, hosting twisted feasts. Initially filled with fear, they eventually became excited, with their cruelty fueling their animalistic instincts. The families of Li Zhu Mei and Zhang Dingding had attempted to question the group about their daughter's whereabouts but were turned away, even receiving hush money to prevent any further investigation. By mid-February, the group was already courting other young women, including Lin Yurong. Wang Jin-chun lavished her with luxury gifts, took her to high-end venues, and introduced her to the elite social circles. Enchanted by the glitz and the attention from Wang, Lin Yurong gradually fell under his spell. She even grew disillusioned with her boyfriend, Zhao Fei Wu, and began contemplating breaking up with him to pursue the luxurious life Wang had promised. On the night of April 20th, following an argument with her boyfriend, Lin Yurong wasn't saddened. Instead, she called Wang Jin-chun, asking if she could spend the night at his place. Wang, of course, did not refuse her invitation. Around 10:50 p.m., he drove his black Toyota to her apartment complex and picked her up, taking her back to his house. Wang Jin-chun told the police he hadn't intended to kill Yurong. He only wanted to have some fun with her. But things didn't go as he planned. After they were intimate, Yurong went to the kitchen to get some water and accidentally discovered the remains of Zhang Dingding in the refrigerator. At first, she thought she was mistaken, but when she pulled on a piece, she was horrified to realize it was a human hand. Realizing his dark secret had been uncovered, Wang's gaze turned cold as he looked at her. Yurong quickly understood that if she didn't escape, things wouldn't end well for her. She tried to stay calm, stood up, and promised to keep the secret. However, Wang didn't believe her. He lunged forward, strangling her in the same way he had done with Zhang Dingding, this time without a hint of fear. After killing Yurong, Wang dismembered her body and called his 3 friends for assistance. He disposed of Yurong's head in the river, just as he had with Dingding. However, the other 3 denied involvement in dismembering the body. They claimed they had simply followed Wang's request to dispose of a chest, unaware of its contents. The outrageous verdict and media silence. Despite inconsistencies in the suspects' testimonies, Thanks to their family's powerful influence, only Wang Jin-chun was convicted of murder and sentenced to death. Hu Jianbao, Chen Gao, and Liang Jing when each received 2-year suspended sentences and were ordered to pay restitution to the victims' families. Following the verdict, many expressed outrage, convinced that Wang's 3 friends were complicit in the murders, possibly even in cannibalism. The public suspected the case had been manipulated by the influence of the remaining families, and there were persistent rumors that Li Zhu-mei, one of the missing girls, may have also been murdered. However, the media soon stopped covering the case, and public discourse gradually faded. Ultimately, only the victims' families and a few people who had followed the case from the beginning remembered it. Like many other cases, this one seemed cloaked by power and privilege, leaving behind countless unanswered questions. What do you think of the verdict and the culprits in today's case? Let us know in the comments below to discuss with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe to Decoder Box, and stay tuned for more intriguing cases from around the world. Goodbye, and see you in our next video.